Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. Today is going to be my review and demo of the Natasha Denona Lila palette. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've been hearing me bitch for about 2 weeks. I haven't been filming because it's so hot in California right now, and again, it very rarely gets out of the 70s in San Francisco. Hardly ever, so nowhere has air conditioning, so I'm very hot. Setting up these lights, if I have like a sweat mustache, we're just gonna have to cope with it. I do have the curtains drawn to keep the sun out, so it is a little dark behind me. Please forgive that if it's distracting. I do have a ton of videos coming up for you guys that I've been working on. I still have the Ripley Get Ready With Me, another Get Ready With Me that I did to talk about my meetup that I had in the park. I have one with Kat and Muse that I just did an interview with. I just have a ton of things coming up. I've been really busy with work, so I haven't had a chance to film. I have my affordable skincare video coming up, again, and that just takes me a long time because I test every product myself. I don't just like group the things together and say, here, buy this crap. So I have a couple more holes, like I'm testing some moisturizers out for the dry skin and 2 more products for the oily skin, affordable, and then that will be up. I have not forgot. Same thing with sunscreen. I have to have Ripley do some flash tests with me to make sure that they don't have flashback on deep skin. Now I'm done with all my excuses. Let's get into the review. As always, there will be timestamps below if you guys care to skip ahead to any certain area. I'm going to talk about all the usual stuff. I also have a demo of this look. So real quickly, I get a lot of questions because of the price point of these palettes. People are always like, a lot of people say, well, who the heck is she to be charging so much? Just to give you a little background, Natasha Denona is a world-renowned famous makeup artist. Natasha was born in Croatia in 1970, and she was raised the majority of her life in Germany. She now resides in Tel Aviv. She's done work in a lot of high fashion campaigns, as well as done a lot of cover shoots with some famous photographers. She's done covers for GQ, Elle, Marie Claire, lots of different magazines. Natasha started her makeup career in 1996. She came from a background of dancing and modeling. She used to do all the other dancers' makeup for them before their shows or recitals. Her mother is a chemist and a technical illustrator, so Natasha has pulled some inspiration from her mom. She's kind of morphed science and her love of art together. In 2002 and 2006, Natasha won 2 Israeli Fashion Oscar Awards for Best Makeup Artist of the Year. In 2002, Natasha opened up the Natasha Denona Makeup Academy, which is located in Tel Aviv, where she trains a lot of aspiring makeup artists. At age 25, when she became pregnant with her daughter, is when she decided to kind of work more behind the scenes instead of being more in front, like modeling and being a dancer. Natasha's philosophy for makeup is she looks at it like living art. And so it should never mask your natural beauty. It should only be used to enhance and work with the facial structure and features that you have. I did receive this palette in PR, and I have been playing with this for several weeks now. I did email the team to ask them what the inspiration for the palette name was, Lila, and that actually, it's a name that she loves, they said, and it also means purple in Croatian and German. And other people have told me that Lila means lilac in Spanish, and I forgot what other language. Sorry. Natasha's favorite color is purple, and this palette is meant to be a purple toned palette. Where you can find this palette. You can find this palette currently. It will be online for sale, Sephora, Beautylish, and the Natasha Denona site itself. It will be in stores in Sephora on September 15th. The cost for this palette is $129. For Sephora, I get free 2-day shipping, so I don't have details on that. Beautylish, domestically within the US, you get free shipping at an order of $35 or more, so this would qualify. Beautylish does ship internationally. Your shipping rate is going to depend on where you live, so I will have that page linked below. Natasha Denona's site does free international shipping with an order of $200 or more, and then they have their different shipping rates to different countries as well, which I will have linked below. Not affiliated with Natasha, but I am affiliated with Sephora and Beautylish, so both of those links will be affiliate links. You buy directly on the Natasha Denona site and you have a pro license. I believe on this palette you can too get 30% off of all of your purchases direct from her. This is the outer box it comes in, like the majority of her palettes. This is the outside. It's almost like a vinyl, this beautiful purple color. It's foam. These shadows come out. You can use a magnet. It has this little perforated tab in here that you can rip out if you want, but on top it just has the name of the shadows and it helps keep the mirror clean. I do still have the protective coating over it. This is made in Italy, like the majority of her products. I think all of them are made in Italy. You're getting 15 shadows at 2.5 grams each, which is huge, for a total of 37.5 grams of product in this palette. Just some food for thought, because I know, and these are pricey. I'm not discounting that. But Makeup Forever shadows, the pan is thinner, but they're larger looking on top, the surface space, but these are only 2 grams. So these are half a gram larger. These are still like $21 per shadow, so just to help you give some gauge on that. In this palette, you're getting 5 of her finishes. You are getting 6 metallic, 4 creamy matte, 3 duochromes, 1 sparkling, and 1 of her chroma crystals. Shelf month on this palette is 24 months, which is longer than some of her other ones have been. Typically because when these shadows have like oil and glycerin and some natural humectants in there, they can start to separate over time, but 24 months is a good amount of time. I've had some of my palettes longer than 2 years from her. I don't have order date or shipping because again, this was sent to me in PR. I apologize for that. If you do order from Beautylish, I believe everything goes out 2 days. I can't say for the Natasha site, and Sephora has 2-day shipping if you're Rouge as well. Product is cruelty free. It is not vegan because it does contain carmine. One of the reasons that Makeup Forever shadows are so expensive is because they use a ton of pigment in their shadows, and pigments are normally the most expensive part of a formula of anything. These shadows do have a lot of pigment in there. She also uses, in some of her shadows, crushed pearls. These shadows are very stunning. I'm going to show you a cost breakdown on the screen right now. This may matter for some and it may not, because when you look at how much shadow you're getting, the cost per gram is very reasonable and it makes sense. But for some people that may not matter because you're never going to use the whole shadow, so you don't care if you're getting a lot. Do you know what I mean? I also just wanted to show you guys, based on some other popular brands, if you were to buy their individual shadows, how many grams you'd get and what it would end up costing you. So right here with Makeup Geek, I wanted to show you, that one I actually broke down based on how many metallics, creamy mattes, duochrome, sparkling, and chroma crystals. I put those as the duochrome that Makeup Geek makes, as well as her foiled shadows, and then I mixed them in with her mattes. If we were just going by the 15 shades that you're getting in the Natasha Denona palette, you would get 27 grams, 10.5 grams less than you're getting in the Lila palette for $122. Then if you were to go gram by gram to get up to the 37.5 grams, because their shadows are a different size, you would end up getting 37.8 grams for 21 shades, and it would cost you $158. Max, if you bought individually, it would come to $150, and that's just factoring in at their regular $6, which I'm pretty sure some of the shadows to compete with the metallics would have to be their more expensive ones, but it started turning into a freaking word problem, so I'm just leaving it at that. ABH, if you were to buy their individual shadows, it would cost you $204 to get 37.4 grams of product. You would end up with 22 shades. Makeup Forever, they used to have a deal that for every 3 individuals that you bought, if you added in a 3-pan palette for $1, it would drop the cost down. But I actually was just noticing on their site that that option is gone, which is kind of odd. I'm not sure when they stopped doing that. So you would get 38 grams. Their shadows are 2 grams each, and it would cost you $399 without that discount, unless there's just a weird glitch on their site, and you would get 19 shades. Urban Decay has one of the highest costs per gram of any eyeshadow on the market. To get around 37 grams, 37.5 grams, you would have to buy 25 shades, and that would come in at $475. I just wanted to show you, if you were to take the money from the Natasha Denona palette, what the equivalent you could get in other brands. It just kind of helps to frame, because again, that $129 price tag up front is a lot, but you do get a lot of shadows, and if you were trying to get the equivalents in other brands, that's what you'd end up spending. One thing I did notice, though, is compared to her big $238 palettes, the 28 pans, she's cutting them almost in half, and the price as well. So I think it's making it a little more accessible for everybody. These palettes are expensive because of the pigments that she uses, because of the finishes, also definitely because of her name. Some people have asked, why wouldn't you start off with a less expensive palette and then work your way up? And that all comes down to branding. I don't think you've ever seen maybe a Louis Vuitton or Cartier. I mean, even look at prices like say, take for instance ColourPop. Everyone likes them because they're affordable. If all of a sudden tomorrow, now that ColourPop has become like a household name for makeup lovers, if they doubled their prices, people would flip their shit and say, stay in your lane, because you see that even with the NYX palettes. I'm trying to say that right now. Even with the NYX palettes, they were coming out at like $30 a palette. Everyone's like, no, you're drugstore. So that comes into branding. You have to launch initially with what you feel like your price point's going to be. Going through the ingredients, there's nothing in here that causes me any concern for putting it on my eyes. She used to have parabens as her preservative in her palettes. She no longer does, which again, parabens don't concern me, but I know they do for some people. 2 ingredients that could possibly be irritants to your eyes if you have sensitivity is ferric ferrocyanide and ultramarines. Those aren't lip safe. They are approved for use on the eyes, but some people that have sensitivity to those, that might bother you. I'm going to show you guys the application of these. These do not swatch very well. The mattes look patchy, and while I swatch everything, so you may ask, well, if swatching is not a good measure of the palette, why do you even bother doing it? Well, I swatch to show you guys what the non-press release swatches look like. I do always test everything, and I always report back if I feel like it's a good representation or a bad of how they apply on your eyes. These mattes are extremely creamy. The mattes do fit the name. The shimmers don't swatch very well with the brush. I do have to use glitter glue, which I always do. One thing you guys told me about, it does work with my flat synthetic shader brush if I pack on. Not really swiping motions, but you guys told me to use these old school, like, I don't even know, sponge tip applicators for eyeshadows. So I bought a little kit of these to try. And there are some shadows now that I do like the ColourPop. They're Super Shock shadow. They're Super Shocks. They're Super Shock shadows I can use now with this. I've tried this with like the Huda palette. It didn't work for me. But some other shadows I am actually liking now because I don't have to use my fingers to get in. If you don't want to use like a glitter glue or a flat synthetic shader brush like this, you have hooded eyes, I would skip this palette because I don't think that you're going to enjoy it. One thing I will say is when her pricing tier is so much, like for a lot of people, if you look at like a typical Sephora palette, you see $40 and then you see $129. You're gonna go, you're setting that expectation really high, right? Because of the price, rightfully so. If you buy this palette thinking it's going to like solve all your world's problems, it's not going to. I do wish this palette had a few more mattes, but honestly, in keeping with the purple tones, these 4 do really well. When I first started playing with it, I was like, it's kind of weird. She did say that the way she likes to group a lot of these shadows, which I'm going to do a demo for you guys, and I actually copied step by step what she did on this eye, and she used all over. But she likes to group these for like quick, easy little looks, and these columns down, like by 3s. So I did some of like the more press release swatches with some washi tape, so I'll show you those as I'm going up on the screen here so you can see. And basically that's when I take a bunch of rubbing on my finger and I rub it back and forth. I don't do that when I do finger swatches. I literally am like toot toot toot, one wipe, and then I take my brush, I wipe it in a few times, and I wipe it in 3 or 4 times on my hand. So just to let you know. So they may not look the best, but I feel like that's setting a realistic expectation of what you can expect when you get this palette. I find the wear on these really nice. They don't start breaking down. And again, I do always wear glitter glue with every single brand I've ever tried of shimmers on my lid, or I get creasing and transfer. So I can't say how they would work if you don't, because I wouldn't know. Now let's get into some swatches, guys. Since this is releasing today, I don't have Ripley's swatches on it, although she did order it. I'm going to take swatches directly off the Natasha Denona page where they swatched on light, medium, and deep skin. So I'm going to have my swatches, which are going to look abysmal next to the more like washi taped off finger swatches. But I just want to get you guys, I just want to show you guys how it may look if you have medium or deeper skin. We'll have where I got the swatches linked below because again, that is not my work. Okay guys, let's get into some swatches now. I will be swatching in my typical fashion. I will be laying down a base of Urban Decay's Primer Potion. I will be swatching the shimmer shades with my MAC 242 brush, and I will be swatching the mattes with my MAC 239 brush. In between swatches, I will be cleaning my brush in my color switch so my brush will not be damp. As always, the first swatch will be a finger swatch, and the one right next to it will be a brush swatch, just so you can see the difference in performance. as you can see, these don't necessarily swatch the best. There were some that you're just like, what the heck? But I do think that this is a pretty palette. Let's get into the demo of me applying these real quickly so you guys can see how they go on. So it's really warm in here, guys. So I might kind of have like a sweat mustache, I don't know. But I wanted to get this video up. We've been having this heat wave, so I haven't been filming the past couple weeks. So I have this side of my face done. On this side, I have my eyebrows, obviously, my base, I have contour, and I do have primer potion down in my eye. So this eye I saw on Natasha Denona's channel, this like purple smoky eye that she did, so I attempted to recreate it. It doesn't look as good as hers or on that model, but that's what I'm gonna do for you on this. So I'm gonna pick up Nude Vino on this Shiki Hodo brush, and just like how I normally do my shadows, I'm going to pack on and then go on and blend. So I'm gonna put that right above my crease. Since I have hooded eyes, if I put it in my crease, you won't be able to see it. I'm gonna take another blending brush and blend that out a little. I'll go in and blend this more in a minute. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of Nude Mauve and Mauve, Mauve, however you say it, I say Mauve. And I'm just gonna blend out that line. And then take a larger fluffy brush. Blend that. I notice Natasha tends to take her eyeshadows, her looks almost up completely to the brow bone on a lot of them, which I think is kind of cool and different compared to normally how I maybe do my makeup. Now I'm going to take Juno and highlight my brow bone. This is shimmery, not something I would typically highlight with, but you don't have any matte colors, and this is how she did it, so that's how I'm doing it. I'm going to pick up this Esom brush. I'll have everything listed below that I use, and blend these in a little more to each other. As always, when I do shimmers, I'm going to use a glitter glue, because if I don't, they'll transfer on my eyes. They always do. I find this is just best for any kind of shimmer application or glitter. I'm going to use a flat synthetic shader brush, and I'm going to pack that on the inner and mid, like 2/3 of my eye. Now, you guys are geniuses. I don't know why I never thought about this, but you guys have mentioned that for shimmery shades, since I don't like using my fingers, and I typically only use like a MAC 242, you guys were telling me that I should use like the old school applicators that come in some of the palettes, which I don't think I have any that have those. But I bought this little multi-pack for like 60 cents or 50 cents. If I can find it online, I'll link it, but it was just at like a Walgreens or Walmart or something like that. And these little sponge applicators are actually better than my synthetic brush. I like it too that this one has like a little pointed side. So I'm gonna pick up this Helio, and I'm gonna pack that all over the glitter glue I just put down. I tried this with a bunch of shimmery shades. I actually now like the ColourPop ones. Those are cool with these applicators. I tried it with like still the like Huda palette. I didn't like it. Glittery or shimmer shades, this is pretty awesome. Use a bigger part if you want to, but I find that this I get more precision with these little pointy ones. Now I'm gonna pick up some Nude Vino and put this on the outer corner of my eye. Just kind of same thing, how I do it, pack down, and then I'll go and blend. I'm gonna dust the excess off of that brush, clean it off, and then I'm gonna go and kind of blend this a little. My hair is sweaty, everything is sweaty. I find sometimes when I do one eye and then I go in and try to do the other, they never look the same. Don't have that skill. I'm gonna go in with a larger blending brush and really just go over those lines so I make sure I don't have a harsh line. I'm gonna pick up some more of that Nude Mauve, and I'm gonna blend in from the middle, from the 2/3 of the eye with the shimmer into the darker color. Before I do my under eyes, I'm going to do my concealer. I'm just using a little bit of light neutral from Shape Tape. Just gonna pat that out. I always make the weirdest faces when I do concealer and mascara and liner. Okay, I'm always making weird faces, I guess. Come to think of it. I'm gonna take some nude vino on this outer portion of my lower lash line. There's that weird face again. Then on the tip of this brush, I'm gonna pick up Livid, and I'm gonna put that in from the inner corner, blend it out into where that was on the lash line. You guys are so smart. Thank you for telling me about those. I love that. Now I'm gonna take some nude mauve and I'm gonna blend that out like she did. Like that. I'm gonna take a bigger Esom brush. Gonna go back in and pick up a little more of that Livid since I kind of blended it away and to not be as shimmery. Now, Natasha did winged eyeliner, which you guys know I suck at. So I'm gonna use my Vamp Stamp. I'm gonna take the medium size, and this is on my left side. Again, make sure that you line up that bottom line. Stamp it on there well. Going out towards the tip of my brow. Stamp it on. I think that's pretty even. Now I'm just going to extend the little flick on the side here. And then I'm gonna join that together. I think she used her eyeliner for it, which are smudgeable, like she has smudge pots. This one dries pretty quickly, but I'm gonna take a smudger brush, and then she picked up this Layla color and just kind of dragged that along to kind of like smudge out that liner. Not that noticeable because mine dries fairly quickly. I'm gonna take a little bit of that Layla color and I'm going to connect, bring the darker color up to where the wing is. There we go. Lashes. I'm going to take a little bit of this Amazement, which is from the Mint to Be collection from Dose of Colors, on my wing gloss brush. I'm just going to put that on the apples of my cheeks. I've been hoarding these kits that I had, these glow kits. I bought extra because I absolutely love this Starburst color. I can actually use almost every shade in here except for Mimosa is a touch too dark for me. But this has been like one of my all-time favorite highlighters, this like pinky peachy color. ABH is coming out with a new glow kit called Sugar, and this is it. And look, Starburst is back. So Marshmallow was an existing color, so was Butterscotch and Starburst. Gumdrop is completely new, so I'm just like, now I feel like I can wear the highlight more. You guys have always heard me talk about it, but now I can wear it because this will be for sale soon. I don't know exactly when though yet. So I'm right here on my cheekbone. See why I love it? Oh my gosh, I just love this color. And these don't have like any glitter in them. The Nicole Guerrero kits had a little when you would put them on. Like I never saw it on here, but I would get glitter fallout from my brush, kind of like that little glitter mustache thing I would talk about, but I could brush it away. But I love that. I'm going to take my Graftobian lip liner. I just fill out the outside border like that, and then I take this Pillow Talk. I fill in the rest slightly. Forgot to highlight the inner corner. I'm going to take a little bit of that Juno on this little pointy brush that came in those little kits, and I'm just going to get on the inside corner here. Make sure you blend that up. Now I'm going to take the Desi and Katie Dose of Colors gloss over the top. And this is the finished look. Would I recommend this palette? Only if you love purples. If you love purples and you're going to get a lot of use out of this, but again, if you see, you only have 4 mattes in this palette, so the majority is going to be shimmers. This is not something that I can wear to work, nor would I. So this is going to be like a nighttime palette for me, weekend palette for me. This isn't going to be something that I'm going to reach for as often as like her Sunset palette, which I will have a review on that coming, because I don't wear purples as much, but like some of these colors are still in that like reddish berry tone, which you guys know I love. I would purchase this if it wasn't sent to me because I do own all her other shadows and I like to keep my collection complete when it's something I really love, and I really do like her shadows. What you guys just need to figure out is if having pans that big is worth it to you. For Natasha, who's a professional working makeup artist, they need to have a lot of shadows because they go through them a lot quicker than just someone that's applying them to ourselves. So for them, it makes sense. Again, that's not typically the target consumer, but if you've noticed, there's been like a larger surge in pro products being offered to the consumer, because I think the consumer has gotten kind of like a little bored with a lot of the releases and things, and this is not going to be for everybody. Again, if the price makes you uncomfortable, I would skip it. It's not something that you're going to use as often, and when the price is that high, again, even though you're getting a ton of product, when you look at the cost per gram, I don't think a lot of people necessarily think like that. They're just going to think, this better be the best thing I've ever tried. And again, the shadows are great, but I would like to have had more mattes and things because that is what I use more. I find a lot of professional makeup artists, unless it's like some crazy like one look editorial look, they don't have a ton of time for makeup. So they tend to just do impactful looks with like a small amount of shadows. So you totally can do that. You can have like a transition, a crease, and then pack one of these all over the lid, maybe the outside V, and you're good to go. So that's pretty much all I have to say. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I will see you next time.